Welcome. This is my action plan for an reading comprehension improvement at Indian Trail Junior High School. First thing I want to talk about is why reading comprehension is currently a problem at Indian Trail Junior High. First problem is that students are all coming into the school with a different educational history. A lot of our students are coming here from different countries, from different school districts altogether, and a lot of them don't stay very long at the same time. The community that the school is in is comprised of a lot of different apartment building complexes and temporary housing areas. So there's a lot of students that come in and come out, so we don't necessarily know what everybody's educational background is. We also have a lot of difficult home lives for the students where there's only one parent around, no parents around, divorces, and a lot of different family members living due to the socioeconomic status of the town. Third thing would be the languages spoken. Our school is 70% Hispanic, and there's a large portion of those students where English is their second language, or they are just still at the beginning stages of learning English. So some things may not make sense to them just because they're not sure what that actually means in this language. Looking at the data for reading comprehension, data I'm focusing on are the PARCC testing results for 2015 and 2016 that are available to us at this time. This specific graph on here is noting the scores for the students from 2016 in blue and 2015 in red. As you can see, where we want our students to be is at the meeting expectations right here. In 2016, we did increase that amount compared to 2015, as well as exceeding, we did increase that amount. Approach in 2016 increased as well in terms of student achievement, and students that have only partially met decreased, as well as did not meet decreased as well, which is good and does show improvement, but students are still also in multiple categories not meeting what the state average or state standard is, which would be shown in this next graph here. These are the state average comparisons for 2015 and 2016. This first one you can see for 2015. The blue columns are for the school and the red columns are for the state. We can see right here that our school has about 16% of the students did not meet those standards, which is higher than the state average, which is something we don't want. Same thing for students partially meeting the state standards. We have a much higher percentage of students that only partially met it compared to the lower percentage of the state. Taking that over to the 2016 results and percentage averages for students, blue yet again is for the school and red is for the state. You can see in comparison to 2016 and 2015 that the amount of students that are not meeting, that have only partially met has dropped significantly by almost 5% on here, which is good and shows that improvement, but we're still above the state average. For students meeting, our percentage has increased, but we're still below what the state average is. So what our goal is here, even though we are making progress from year to year, we still need to continue to make that progress and hopefully make that progress quicker than it is going at this rate. In order to do so, I'm proposing that our teachers incorporate the reciprocal teaching method. What reciprocal teaching is taking students and putting them into small groups so they're in charge of their own actual learning. Rather than the teacher doing all the direct instruction, handing out a worksheet, having students independently work on things, they're in charge of their own learning. They're helping each other learn by working together different ways. Each student is going to have a specific role in that group that they may have. So they may be the organizer, they may be the recorder, they may be a summarizer. various roles that you can add into a group so each person has control and has ownership over what their specific role may be at that time. It's effective because the students are really working together. They see that they're in charge of one portion of their group's work, and that they need to really come together for their group to be successful. They need to work on that. Students also will be effective in this because it's helping them look at their work differently than they had before. They're getting other students' perspectives and ideas on things that they may not have thought of in the first place, and they may not have gotten from a teacher just giving them direct instruction the entire time as well. What we will have to do as a staff with this proposed action plan is first start by training our staff. A lot of staff members do know how to do this plan, may use something similar to it in their classrooms already, but it's really important to make sure that all staff members are on the same page and doing the same methods for this. That way we're all staying unified in the way the students are being taught and everyone is understanding that. We would follow through with this at our Monday morning all staff meetings one day, spend some time training on it, going over the procedures. Second would be our student training, where during language arts classes, students would be able to learn the different steps. So what does each person's role mean? How are you going to work with this role? How are you going to work with your partners? And again, telling them why it's beneficial to them and going to help them out in the future. We're doing these in language arts, but students ultimately are going to use this skill in all of their classes that involve reading. But language arts is where we really want to focus on it with our beginning learning steps. Third is going to be basic student implementation. So for this step, what students will be doing is putting those steps actually to work, but with a very simple task. So either a small journal exercise where they're reading something, a short story, a short article, something small where they can still practice each task and each step or role that they have, but not be overwhelmed by too much work at once. Continually, number 4, throughout the school year, students are then going to go ahead and have this implemented in all of their classes. So not just language arts and reading classes, but also their science classes, social studies classes, and anything else that they may be reading articles or reading books or journals in. The reason this is important is so that the students continue to get that practice throughout the school year in various different subjects. As we know, on standardized testing that students are taking to look for reading and looking for comprehension, it's not all fun stories. There are stories that are nonfiction, and there are fiction stories. So we want to make sure that we're covering the different topics in different subject areas. Finally, number 5 would be getting those when the students come full circle to the next year's PARCC testing, taking those results that we get from back that and almost not starting the process over again, but really looking at that data and comparing it to the past 2 years. So seeing, is this helping us with an increase in our percentage of students meeting the goal? And are they really increasing their knowledge and understanding everything at the correct rate, and hopefully faster than it had been in the past? Now let's go ahead and help our students become their best self.